go ahead and get started. So, as I said, we are back on case number ZH20240087. That's 644 Eden Park Drive. We were continued in progress for the applicant to take a look at the proposal and determine if there were any changes that could be made that would address some of the concerns that were outlined in staff report and during testimony at the last hearing. So we're going to start off by just going to the applicant to discuss any revisions that have been made. I will give Ms. Burden and Ms. Meehan an opportunity as well to provide any comment, and then allow the applicant to finish up with a closing. So Ms. Dietrich, are you ready to proceed?
Okay. Would it be okay to share screen?
Absolutely.
Okay. I come through okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So what we have done, we have made a revision. We are proposing a revision. On the left side, it shows the previously reviewed design of the sign. On the right side, it is showing the revision. The height of the sign has been revised, and I'll show a comparison here. It was previously 10 feet tall. It has been reduced to 6 feet tall to the highest point of the curve. And the dark gray point here, the low point of the curve of the top of the sign, which is nearest the street, is about 12 inches or so less than the overall height. So there's a little bit more viewway that is also given by the overall size of the sign. The width of the sign has also been reduced. It was previously 4'6" in the original request. The width has been reduced to 3'10". And the setback, which also supported and helped on the setback, it was moved from previous request was 1'4". It has been moved back 5 feet from the property line. And the address that was previously listed on the sign has been moved and is proposed to be above the entranceway here. So there's a drawing, and I'll go back to the renderings here. So just moving those letters up to the top of the canopy, and just some other context views here, just to show the sign in the space, along with view of pedestrian visibility there as you move in and through the drive lane. Of note, the sign is still within the site triangle, based on the site triangle position.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to say about the revisions or the project at this time? And I'll open that up to Ms. Moran Berry, who has joined us now as well.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I had some technical issues on my end.
No problem.
And I apologize if I repeat something Mary has said. I wanted to address a concern that Ms. Burton sent regarding, Mary, did you cover that already? Okay.
I did not.
Ms. Burton sent us information about the sewer easement that runs in that area. We did have a survey done prior to our purchase, and we're aware of the location of that sewer easement. Cincinnati Children's has a number of structures that are on top of easement areas, and we are willing to take on the responsibility for adjusting the sign on an as-needed basis for any repairs, and doing that at our cost. So I don't want that to be something that impacts the zoning or permission for the sign. If further documentation of that is required, we will take care of that between ourselves and the Ms. Burton and her the co-owner of her property. We are, I'm aware that this is a variance. I don't like asking for variances. I understand the challenges of sightlines as a vertically challenged person myself. I appreciate it. The Mary and her firm, and also myself and other staff members from my division have driven up and down this road over the last 2 weeks, looking at it from various if we mindset. And while signage that was suggested by the city staff over the garage opening, the entry opening, might be sufficient for northbound traffic, still not ideal. But it really does not help the southbound traffic until you are on top of it, at which time we believe it is too late. So we are making this request and have modified the size and scope. And we think it's a good compromise.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Did she
I don't have
mention
any
also that
questions at this time.
Sorry, we do plan to put patient parking on that. Ms. Burton had asked how we were going to keep staff out, and we are going to make it very clear to them that this is a patient parking area. And staff will be informed that unless it's after hours, they need to park in the purchased leased parking that we have around the corner on E.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to, I think at this point we'll go to the Ms. Burton. Ms. Burton, is there any comment or testimony you want to add? You're on mute if you do. Ms. Burton, we cannot hear you if you are trying to speak. Here, let me.
I sent a letter. I feel very strongly still about the conditions that necessitated the easement for the sanitary and sewer. If we have to defend it, I will contact our real estate attorney. I honestly believe that the initial safety concerns still exist, and then this doesn't make my property any more valuable by having signed in an easement that I feel was a necessity. I stated my case, and I'd like to see how the zoning and hearing and city decide to proceed.
Got it. So to be clear, your statement referenced a utility easement that runs underneath the location of the sign.
Combination sanitary and sewer, as well as the stormwater sewage that comes off of the parking garage for the 644 Eden Park Drive building. And it goes all the way down the side of the building in terms of that, and ours takes a 90 and goes toward the street, but it is right in that area where the crux of the situation is, but both lines are right there. I don't remember seeing any, and I'm pretty sure I didn't see any survey going on, no underground detective or anything like that showing exactly where that is. And I'm trying to alleviate the possibility of anything occurring, as opposed to, let's just dig and see what happens. How many footers, how many, what is the depth of those footers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing has been stated in that, just a visual of what it's going to look like from the front. So you know, if I have to contact our real estate attorney, I will.
Okay. Got it. Outside of the utility issue, do you have any additional comments about the new design, the revisions?
It's still large. I still believe that they can do something over the garage entry. That should suffice. I believe too that there will be less traffic coming down the hill in terms of their patients and their families than coming up the hill and turning left or coming off of the highway onto Eden Park Drive. They see the sign on the garage door or what have you that has an arrow pointing that direction. And the Cincinnati Children's Hospital is larger than life on the front of that building, at least as a proposed sign. So that's my sense of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Burton. I appreciate your time and your testimony here today and your correspondence.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Going to move to Ms. Meehan. Ms. Meehan, anything you wanted to add to this?
Thank you, David. So, and thank you to Mary for submitting the revised design. I do think that the ground sign is better in terms of the size, but as was indicated, it is still within that site triangle, and I do continue to have some concerns about its location within the site triangle. I think my preference would still be to see some kind of signage that is over the garage. And I understand, you know, there's a question about the visibility. So, you know, I don't know if some kind of a projecting sign might be better than a wall sign. But I think I would still be in favor of a different type of signage to indicate the parking here.
Gotcha. Okay. And based on the new dimensions of the proposed sign, is it your understanding that the same, certainly not to this, maybe not to the same extent, but the same type of relief is needed as before?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So the site triangle restrictions still requires a variance, and just ground signage in the OG district requires a variance. Correct?
Yeah, so it's still within it is still within the site triangle.
Got it.
I mean, it is compliant in the size for the OG, but yes, the ground sign regulations do clearly state that it cannot be closer to the lot line or right of way than the greater of 1/2 of the sign height or 15 feet when within a site triangle. So yes, they would still need a variance for that.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Kate. All right, go back to the applicant team on this one. Anything you want to say in response to anything you heard from Ms. Burton or Ms. Meehan? If so,
Do you have anything?
No, other than, you know, in regards to below ground utilities, as is policy, nothing can be dug into the ground without first going through and getting confirmation that there is nothing that would be struck. So no digging can occur prior to that. And number two, there are, you know, in terms of signage construction, there are means to deal with straddling or working around or working above underground conditions that can exist, and that is quite common.
And I would like to just reassure Ms. Burton. I mean, I am a real estate attorney. I'd rather not create a legal issue with this. We will not be doing anything that impacts the utilities underground. We require the variance in order to then go and investigate whether or not it's possible at all. We did have survey work done on the top. We have not had underground survey work done yet, but it would be pointless if we're not permitted to put the sign up there. So we have no intention of doing anything to disturb yours or our stormwater or utilities at all. That's not our intention. Our intention would be to look at we have a number of signs that straddle utilities. And we would, work toward an engineering solution for that. And if we can't, then we would come back and ask for a different solution for this problem. So we will not do anything that is going to interfere with, the movement of the water and the waste.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think we will leave it at that. I want to thank everyone again for their time and testimony here today. I have some information that I just need to review, testimony from last hearing and the revisions more fully. As soon as I do make a decision on this, I'll put it into as some of you know, into a written decision that will serve as the official decision for this hearing and for this application. Whether that's an approval or denial, there is a 30-day appellate period after the decision has been issued. So I just want to make everyone aware of that. I think that's it. As soon as I finish the written decision, I will put it into a PDF. I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of that really just moments after it's complete. And again, once that is sent out, that's when the 30-day appellate period would start. If you have any questions about the process or procedure for this hearing or for an appeal, you can contact our office and we will be happy to answer any procedural questions. However, now that the hearing is closed, I can no longer take any new evidence or any statements or anything like that. So if you think of something you wish you would have said, or a picture you wish you would have provided at this point, the matter is closed, and I can't and won't consider any new evidentiary comments or questions, but I can answer anything procedurally. Okay, any questions now about any of that? All right. Well, you will be receiving a decision from me within the next couple weeks. If you'd like a status update on that decision, if you haven't seen it, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to provide an update for you. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we are adjourned.
Great. Thank
Bye,
you. We
everyone.
appreciate